What is going on, guys? It's your boy Jay, and today I'm gonna be ranking some Pokemon video games. Now, I've played basically every Pokemon game since like Red, Blue, and Yellow. I haven't always played both sides, so I played like Sapphire, but I haven't played a Ruby, for example. But I played basically every game at some point in my life, except for two of them, as you can see, because I haven't played section. But besides the two games that I haven't played, I played basically every Pokemon game. So, with that said, let's get into the video, shall we? Okay, so before we get into this, I'm basically judging these games on two main criteria. How much did I enjoy the games when they came out as I played them for my very first playthrough in the time period that they came out. Second, how much do I still enjoy those games, and how fond of a nostalgia factor do those games still have for me today as an adult, right? So with that in mind, we're gonna start ranking some of these games. But before we do, y'all already know what it is. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to slap that like and subscribe to let me know that you guys want to see more content like this, because I want to do more content like this, but I need to know people like it. But anyways, let's get into this. Starting off with Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. Now, I know a lot of people do love the Gen 3 games. This is like a lot of people, well, this is like Gen 3 was like a lot of people's real introduction into Pokemon. So I know that a lot of people hold the Gen 3 games near and dear to their heart. I am not one of those people, to be honest, but I cannot lie. The remakes of the Gen 3 games were not bad. I didn't love them. They're my least played games out of all these games. I think I have like 40 hours at most in Alpha Sapphire. But the game was cool, you know, I enjoyed it as much as a Pokemon game can be enjoyed, I guess. So, starting off with probably one of my lowest tiered games, Alpha Sapphire. I'm going to throw into the C tier? Yeah.
12 seconds later.
I think I'm going to put Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby in the B tier. I didn't play Omega Ruby, but I'm going to put the opposite version of each game in the same tier, just because they are basically the same game, just slightly different Pokemon you can catch, obviously. But yeah, Oraz was, like I said, I'm not a big Gen 3 fan, but I would say that Oraz was better than the original Gen 3 games. But again, to me, I'm not a big fan of Gen 3. I don't really love a lot of the Pokemon designs. In fact, I hate the story almost. I think the story is really comical. An evil team that wants to expand the CMAS? Why? Why would anybody want that? Like what I just never understood the motivations for both Team Magma and Team Aqua. Like Team Magma makes a little more sense, like he wants to expand the landmass for like people and Pokemon to live more, but like it's still just a very foolish goal. Like it's I don't know. I could never take Team Aqua and Team Magma serious, like at all. Their goals just seem so outlandish. They don't seem like real goals that anybody would have in any universe. So I've never been a big fan of the Gen 3 games, to say the least. So Black 2 and White 2 are, I feel like, objectively some of the best games in the entire franchise. They're some of the first games to really start playing with like a little bit of 3D graphics, like with the houses and some of the buildings and the main city. I don't know what it's called. Is it Castellion? Whatever the main city is. One of the first games to start playing with 3D graphics, and obviously the last game before they went into full 3D. But they were, honestly, story was strong. Pokemon designs were strong. I didn't love the black and white Pokemon at first, but they really grew on me, and I started to love them even more as I played the games. And honestly, they're probably one of the hardest games. I think they take you to like the highest. They have one of the highest like max levels of any of the games. I think I'm just speaking from memory. So I'm gonna throw both Black 2 and White 2 up in S tier. These are some nostalgic games. I've still gone back as an adult and played these games in emulators and stuff, just like the vanilla version of the games. So I really do think Black 2, White 2, some of the pinnacle games of Pokemon. Now, Black and White, again, separated on this list. I don't know why, but Black and White are good games, but obviously they're not as good as Black and White 2. So for that simple fact, they gotta go in the A tier. It just makes sense. I can't put them in S tier because Black and White 2 is better than Black and White. So, you know, logic dictates Black and White goes in the A tier. Now, for the original Kanto games, it's really hard It's really hard for me to put these in a low tier just because, like I said, they were my introduction to the series. They were the first games I ever played. At the same time, mechanically speaking, they're broken games. Looking back on them, they're not the best games, obviously, graphically wise, mechanics wise. There's so many glitches in them. They're just, you know, they didn't age well, like at all. Not in the slightest they age well. So I think, respectably, I'm gonna put them in the B tier for the simple fact that I loved them when they came out, but now going back, I would never play these games. I would never want to play these games. I would never even consider it. It wouldn't cross my mind. If I wanted to play a Gen 1 game, I would just play Fire Red and Leaf Green. It just makes more sense, right? So for that reason, I'm going to put them in the B tier. They were good when they came out, but going back to them now, I could never imagine. I would never, it would never happen, right? Now, Crystal version I have a very interesting story. I never actually played it fully because the cartridge that I got, I didn't buy it firsthand. I got it like secondhand or maybe like a used game store or something. But the cartridge that I got was broken, so I could never save my game. But I would save it, and then as soon as I turned the system off, turn the system back on, all my progress was gone. So for Crystal, I played maybe to like the second gym, maybe around there, and I just realized this is a futile effort. Why try and play this game? But again, if I have to, you know, judge it from S to D, I'm gonna give it a similar judging to, it's really hard for this game. It's really hard. You know, I might put this in the haven't played tier. I'm gonna put this in the haven't played because technically I haven't played this game. I have not played this game from the beginning to the end. I've never made it through, and I'm sure it's different from the other Gen 2 games. I just never actually played it. I probably wouldn't go back to play it now. Again, I'm not really big on playing super old games. All right, now I actually want to do the other two Gen 2 games first because these are actually personally some of my favorite games. Again, I don't know if I would go back and play them though, but when I did play them, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed them. So I'm gonna put them in the A tier for the simple fact that I like them more if I could find gold. I don't know where gold is here. No, that's hard gold. I'll get to it later. For the simple fact that Gen 1 was my introduction to the series. It was like I was just playing around in this game that I didn't even know anything about. And then Gen 2 was when I actually started to make friends with Pokemon. Like I was like on the schoolyard and I was like, oh, you're playing Pokemon? I have Pokemon. You have a link cable? And I would battle with people, trade with people. I remember specifically there was one time I was battling one of my old friends back then, and he had a Feraligatr and I had a Typhlosion, and we'd always battle, and his Feraligatr would obviously always, you know, beat my Typhlosion just off type alone, until one day I learned that you can teach Thunder Punch to Typhlosion. So I taught Thunder Punch to Typhlosion, and I don't remember if I actually KO'd his Feraligatr, but I definitely gave him a run for his money. He was like, what? When did that happen, right? So here's gold. For the nostalgia factor alone, and for the fact that I can see myself maybe going back to play these games, like possibly. I would never go back to play these Gen 1 games, but Gen 2 games, I'd consider it. They're in full color, full-ish color. They have breeding, they have other, you know, they have some Pokemon that I like, and I wouldn't say my favorite. Espeon is one of my favorite Pokemon, but they have more replayability, in my opinion, than the Gen 1 games, right? So now we're gonna go, you know, I thought I was gonna rank these games higher, the Gen 4 games, but I'm gonna give them a little bit of, I'm gonna humble them a little bit, right? So Diamond and Platinum, I meant Diamond and Pearl are two of my favorite games. I didn't play Pearl, but I played the Gen 4 games. So Diamond and Pearl, I'm gonna put in the A tier, because again, some of my favorite games, but Platinum is a much better upgrade to these games, obviously. But Diamond and Pearl are still one of my favorite games because between Gens 2 and 4, so Gen 3, I kind of skipped it when it came out. I didn't actually play Gen 3 as it was released. So when I came back to the series for Gen 4, these were like my reintroduction into the series, and a lot had changed from Gen 2 to Gen 4. So for me, coming back to obviously Gen 4 from last playing in Gen 2, I was like, this is crazy. Pokemon is so different. There's way more colors. Everything is way more vibrant. The moves look way better. There's Pokemon seals. All of the Pokemon, or not all of them, but a lot of the Pokemon designs in Gen 4, I think are some of the strongest designs still to this day. Like, me personally at least, I very rarely go through Gen 4 Pokemon and go, nah, don't like the design. Nah, that's an ugly design. Nah, that's not cool. Most of the designs of Gen 4, super cool. Both of the legendaries I've loved. The Giratina, the third legendary, I also think is a really cool design. So it's one of those games where it's just like, for me, well-rounded generally. These were another pair of games that I got into and I got my friends into. I don't want to say I got them into it, but you know, I got it and I was like, hey guys, look, Pokemon. And then they're watching me playing and they're like, whoa, what? Pokemon is so cool. Because again, they haven't also played since like Gen 1 or 2. So I'm in high school playing Diamond and Pearl, my boys, and it was just a good time. I'll always have a special place in my heart for these games, which is why I'm so excited for the BDSP remake coming out tomorrow. Now, just to stick with Gen 4, I want to kind of do this, you know, all together if I can. Gen 4, I'm going to throw Platinum obviously in S tier because, like I just said, Platinum, or sorry, these three games, they always get mixed up in my mind. Diamond and Pearl were my favorite games, some of my favorite games. So Gen 3 games, again, like I've said a lot of times, not my favorite games. Not really a big fan of any of the Pokemon in them. I do like a couple Pokemon, obviously Metagross. There's a couple off the top of my head I can't remember, but maybe like 5 or 6 Pokemon from the game, 5 or 6 evolution lines I actually really enjoy. But other than that, I never really liked these games. When they came out, I think I might have played one of them. I don't remember which one, but I definitely played one of them like a little bit. It wasn't my game. I didn't own the game. I played someone else's, and I didn't really like it. I don't know why. I don't know what it was about them. Just did not like the games. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the region. I didn't like the Pokemon. They were not my favorite games. But I have gone back as an adult, maybe 5, 6 years ago. I don't remember. In my early 20s, I went back and I played either Ruby or Emerald. I think I played Emerald because I think it was Emerald because I do remember getting Rayquaza. I don't know if you get Rayquaza in Ruby and Sapphire, but I do remember getting Rayquaza. And I mean, I didn't hate the games. Again, they're kind of like Auras in the sense that I didn't hate it, but I also didn't have, at that time, I didn't have anything else new to play. So I was like, you know what? I have this old Emerald cartridge, or this old Ruby cartridge, whatever one it was. So let me just play that. That'll be, you know, pass the time, whatever. So I'm gonna put Emerald actually in B tier because I do think Emerald, like I said, not my game. I didn't really love it. I didn't really care for it when it was out. Even going back to play it as an adult, didn't really care for it. I played it as the way to pass time and just to get my Pokemon fix in, because I'm one of those people where, like, every now and again, every few months, I just have to play Pokemon. I have to get my Pokemon fix in somehow. It's like an addiction, right? So Emerald is gonna go in B tier. Now Ruby and Sapphire, I'm putting in C tier because, again, I feel like Emerald is the enhanced version. It is slightly better, and I don't really care much for, like, if I had to pick between the 3 starter or the 3 legendaries of these games, Rayquaza is the coolest one. I don't really care for Kyogre. I think Groudon is just a really, I don't know. I never liked its design. It just looks foolish. It looks super stiff. Like, it looks like what? Like, it's like what does it do with these arms? What does it do with this? What is this? What is this? What is this? I just didn't like it, right? It was not my cup of tea when it came out. Still not really my cup of tea. Auras was, again, my least favorite game of the newer generation of games. So Gen 3 games, they're gonna stay low on the list. Now, considering these are Gen 3 games, but I consider them, you know, they're Gen 1 remakes, I'm gonna throw Fire Red and Leaf Green in the A tier. Again, simply, you know, the original Kanto games are good. Fire Red and Leaf Green, obviously way better. They came out probably, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'm assuming they came out around 10 years later, around there, give or take. So obviously they're going to be better mechanically. I always felt that Kanto had a pretty solid story, like just going through, doing your gym life thing, and then next thing you know, boom, Team Rocket comes around, evil syndicate crime organization. They just want to take over the world. They just want to take over stuff. They want to be, you know, top dogs, which is a simple story. It makes sense. Obviously, criminal organizations want to do bad things. They want to take over things. They want to own things, which is why I feel like Kanto obviously has one of the better, stronger plots and evil villains, because their evil villain goal is realistic. You can believe it. You can believe that anybody that lives in a world of Pokemon Anyone who's bad is going to be like, well, I'm bad, and there's these magical, powerful beasts. Why not use them to get whatever I want, right? So, Fire Red, Leaf Green, I'm going to put in the A tier. They're not my favorite games, but they're definitely games that I really do like. And I haven't actually gone back. I think I've gone back and played Fire Red once. I've never gone back to play them, but I would if I had cartridges for them. I don't have cartridges for them, and I know I could emulate them, which I probably will do in the future at some point, but you know, across that bridge when we get to it. So I know a lot of people like to rag on the Gen 2 games, Soul Silver, Gold, and Heart Gold, because the pacing of the games and the level pacing specifically just makes no sense. So that is a tick in the con section for these games. But honestly, I still think Gen 2 is some of the better games. Not better, but some of my favorite games, just based on the fact that they had Johto and Kanto. That was a new thing when the games first came out. When they relaunched, they had Pokemon following you, following Pokemon. I still obviously had their Johto Kanto story. They had the Poke Walker, which I do love. Well, I did love. I lost mine. I used to have a job at Canadian Tire, and I used to have that thing on my belt every freaking shift. I was catching Pokemon. I had so many like different Pokemon that I got from there, right? So definitely, you guys know Soul Silver, Heart Gold going in the S tier simply because they obviously improved on the original Silver and Gold games. These games are probably some of the ones that I have the most time played in. There is one game on this list that I have not even arguably, objectively the most time in any Pokemon game. So these are another pair of games that I loved, and another pair of games that I played in high school with all of my boys alongside Diamond and Pearl. So again, games that I hold near and dear to my heart. Now, the Let's Go games, I didn't play. These are going to go down here. Probably won't play these games because I highly doubt they're ever going to go on sale. Nintendo never does sales. They're evil. But yeah, probably never play these games simply because like I don't really want to buy. I don't really want to buy them. That's the thing. I don't want to spend $90 on another pair of Kanto games that are watered down to begin with. Like they're not like a full Pokemon game. There's no IVs. There's no real competitive scene. Like there's no reason for me to play these games other than just to play them, get the experience, and also I feel like shiny hunting in these games is slightly easier. I know it's still time consuming, but I feel like it's a lot less time consuming because I swear you have to get like a streak of like 30 or 40, and then it like greatly increases your shiny odds. So like playing them for a shiny hunters, like a shiny hunter, shiny hunting, I guess, would be the only reason. But I'm not gonna spend $90 just so I can shiny hunt in these games when I can shiny hunt in any game, really. It just makes no sense. Coming down to the wire, we have Sun and Moon. I got the Moon version, never really played the Sun version. Actually, I played a little bit. I did play a little bit. I borrowed one of my friends' games. I played a little bit of Sun, but didn't play it too much because I already played Moon. But I did enjoy these games. Just the twist on the gameplay, the no gyms, no HMs, the ride Pokemon, the fact that there are so many Pokemon in these games. There's a lot to do in these games actually. And it's like I know those mixed. This is where Pokemon really started to get a lot of mixed feelings about their games. I enjoy these games. I had a lot of fun in these games. I feel like I have a lot of playtime in these games, so I'm definitely gonna throw these in B tier because they were good. They weren't the best. I didn't love the story. The story wasn't awful, but I didn't really like Aether Foundation and Team Skull not really being an evil team. Like I really do like my teams to be evil. Team Galactic, evil. He wanted to like create a whole new world, whole new alternate like reality, basically change all this reality. Black and White, if I remember correctly, he wanted to like control the hearts and minds of men or something like that, and like take everyone's Pokemon, something along those lines. Obviously Team Rocket just evil all around. So like all of those teams, minus Magma and Aqua because they make no freaking sense. All those teams were evil. They were, they clearly had evil goals that is very realistic, very. I could see an evil team wanting to do that, and a real person wanted to have those goals to take over things or to rewrite history or whatever. So Sun and Moon having no real evil team. Like Aether Foundation is an evil team, but like I don't know, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the whole like, oh, we're the good guys. Like they were like they were too like whimsical, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe my opinion is stupid on that, but that's just me. I would have rather Team Skull be more evil. maybe I would have rather actually had the games be where Team Skull infiltrated Aether Foundation, and that was like, you know, they had like a big coup where Guzma took over the whole Aether Foundation, or even like something like along those lines, right? Now, obviously, if Sun and Moon is in A tier, you guys should already know by now. Throw in Ultra Sun and Moon in S tier. Yeah, they're the same games basically, with a little bit more polish on them, but that's what those are in the S tier. But yeah, basically Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I liked it. Didn't play it as much as Moon, because like I said, I played a lot of Moon. So when I got to Ultra Moon, I was like, I'm a little bit mooned out, you know, Moon syndrome here. Too much mooning going on. But I still did like the games. The Ultra Wormholes were fun. I actually went back and played a couple months ago to get a couple shiny, like legendary shiny, other shinies basically. So Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, S tier games, some of the best games I think they made. This is where Pokemon started to really like improve on quality of life things. So yeah, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, S tier. Now, Pokemon X and Y is always a weird game for me, because I don't really remember much of it. Like, what really happened in that game? I feel like Pokemon Y, or Pokemon X and Y, I feel like their evil team was like really boring. Even though I feel like they had an evil goal. They wanted, what's his name? Lysander? Lysander. He wanted to do something with, I don't know what he wanted to do. That's my whole thing, right? I don't remember what Lysander wanted to do. But I know it was evil. It was, you know, dastardly. So I will give them a point for having, you know, an evil team. And the whole rollerblading thing. I do remember there was rollerblades in that game. I love the rollerblades. That was cool too. But generally speaking, I don't remember the games too much. I didn't love them. I didn't hate them. I did think they were cool because, you know, they were the first games in 3D. But other than that, I don't have a very fond recollection of these games. So I'm going to throw them in the B tier. Because again, they're not bad. I did enjoy them when I played them. But now thinking about it, I can't really imagine myself going back to play these games. I don't see why I ever would. And I don't really have too much of a nostalgia factor for them. Can't really be like, oh, these games I remember so fondly. I just remember those nostalgia points, right? So I'm gonna put them in the B tier, keep it in the middle. They're not good, they're not bad. They're so-so games to me. Now, so we have reached the pinnacle of Pokemon controversy. The worst Pokemon games ever released. Sword and Shield. I played Shield, did not play Sword. Obviously, like I said, all these games are the same, just slightly different Pokemon in each one. So they're both going in the same tier. And that tier is... It's going in S tier. It's going in S tier. And I know that's might be a hot take, might be an unpopular opinion, but in my opinion, these are the best Pokemon games so far. The quality of life improvements, amazing, immaculate. Trees aside, the graphics of the game are good. I don't care really what anyone said. You can pull up Breath of the Wild all day and put it beside, you know, Pokemon. If I want to play Breath of the Wild, which I actually do have Breath of the Wild, and you know what? I haven't finished it. I've gotten to like maybe 30%, and I just lost interest in the game. So to me, that tells me that it doesn't matter if Breath of the Wild looks better than Pokemon Sword and Shield, because I have over 900 hours. I have like 999 hours and 58 seconds or something like that. Something stupid crazy. I have like 1,000 hours of Pokemon Shield. So like people trying to say it's not as good as this game or comparing it to that game, it's like it doesn't matter because this game is more fun to me. Like they're fun games, and like anyone that's mainly mad because, oh, you know, they have really bad animations or the trees or the fact that there's not all the Pokemon in the games, or mad that you have to buy DLC to, you know, get the Crown Tundra and the Isle of Armor. I mean, those things are all minuscule to me, if I'm being honest. Like, I never once played the game and was like so mad at this tree texture. I'm so mad that Zacian and Zamazenta basically did a 180. Like, it's goofy, I'm not gonna lie. The games aren't perfect. None of these games are perfect. But Sword and Shield, in my opinion, best games. Quality of life improvements. The way that the ease of access to get into competitive, like, best games for that. Shiny hunting was, I did the most shiny hunting in these games, to be honest. And yeah, you can hate them for whatever you want to hate them for, graphics, laziness, but I had the most fun, and I don't think I've actually, there's very few games I have put 1,000 hours into, and Pokemon Shield is one of them. So to me, I can't put anything less than S tier. That would just be hypocritical to me. Don't play 1,000 hours of a game if it's not good to you. But yeah, folks, this is my tier list. You can clearly tell that I like Pokemon games in general, because a lot of these are S and A tiers, and there's no D tier, because I don't really think any Pokemon game is bad. There are better ones than others, but to me, you give me a Pokemon game, I'll probably play it. I'll probably play it from beginning to end. At the very least, at the very most, I'll sink 1,000 hours into it easily. So you can call me whatever you want. Game Freak fanboy, Game Freak apologist. Not really, I wouldn't say I'm an apologist, but you know, I love my Pokemon games. This list clearly tells you that. And yeah, that's all I really got for you. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you think of my tier list? Do you think I'm a awful, you know, foolish, blind, ignorant, you know, sucker for putting Pokemon Sword and Shield in the S tier? Do you think that I, you know, have bad takes because I put 1,000 hours into Sword and Shield? Do you think Ruby and Sapphire should be higher? Because I know a lot of people love those games, and I just can't bring myself to like them that much. Let me know down below what you guys think of my tier list. Let me know some of your Pokemon games that you think are the best and the worst. Maybe why not? You know, start a discussion down there. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe for more tier list videos, because I'm planning more in the future. And catch you guys next time. Peace.